We are live. So excited to be here. Thank you for joining us for our Metaphysical Happy Hour. I am here with Tracy and our guest Joy. This is going to be a really exciting show, guys. Tracy, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, so I'm Tracy, also known as the Red Couch Medium to everybody, and now co-host to Metaphysical Happy Hour. So hello, everybody. And then we have Joy Kauf. That's super exciting. She's like a superstar in the Dallas area. I'll just tell you that.
Woohoo. Hey, everybody start commenting below. Let us know where you're watching us from. We're super excited that you're here. So let us comment below. That'll let us know you're here and where you're from.
Yeah.
And I am Cassie with StarGazers Unite. So that's
Welcome, Joy. We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We are. Like, you probably don't even know this, but let me just share. Well, let's just share your spiritual resume. So, because you have such a spiritual resume. So we have down that you're a tarot reader, channel, Reiki healer, Galactic Healing. And I think I'm stopping at that. Plus, you're the owner of Miracles of Joy in Lewisville, Texas, right? Yes. So store owner. And we were just talking before we went live, and you're almost at your 15-year anniversary in December.
In December, we hit our 15 years. So we're heading into our 16th year.
Wow. What? Wow. That is just fascinating. Number one, that a store has lasted that long and held. So that just speaks for itself about spiritualism and the spiritual community and how it's growing. But like, I love your story. So I know you personally. So I know her personally. And my story, that store changed my life. I'll just tell you. That's where it all started for me. So I remember getting a reading, and someone had told us, me and my daughter, that there's the gifts in our family, whatever. And I'm like, the next day I go Google metaphysical store, and then Miracles of Joy popped up. And I just remember walking into a store for the first time and just feeling at home. And that's before I knew I could do anything. And that was 5 years ago to be. So 5 years ago that happened. And now here we are now 5 years later. And I just love your store. I love your philosophy on how you nurture readers, and then they're okay to go on their way and grow. And so just amazing stuff. But I love your story on how you got started. So why don't you tell the readers what you used to do before you...
I was in corporate America. I worked for CitiFinancial Services as a Vice President of Strategic Initiatives and Quality Assurance. And I'm not going to say had an awakening. I've always been involved in channeling since I was in my early 20s. I used to go see people who channeled because I really wanted to know why we're here. Why are we on this planet? I kind of stepped away from religion because it felt that it was just negative at that point. It just focused on the negativity instead of really focusing on our direct connection to the all that is, the creator, God, whatever you want to label it. So I've always gone to people who have channeled practically my whole life, my whole adult life.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Orleans.
Okay. So I was like, okay, it's probably cool to live in a place like that because it's fostered there. I mean, the whole movement, it's a great city to be from, right?
What I realized is, our teacher shows up when we're ready. When I got started, we did not have internet. I could not Google channel, and find someone who channeled. What it would be is this word of mouth would come through. And whenever I needed to go somewhere, the person would actually show up at that point. And from my perspective is we're all channels all the time. And that's what I tell people who walk into the store. We all have our direct connection to the all that is. It's really about really getting into that heart space and moving forward with it.
Agreed. That's so fascinating. Like we were talking before the show too. And I want you to talk about what you're seeing now today in your store. You're 15 years in to having a metaphysical store, and I can imagine the thousands of people who've walked through that door. Have you seen like an increase in that number of people recently?
800 people a month walk through the door.
100 people a month walk through that door.
We are averaging between, and I can tell from my square, that's how many people actually purchase in the store.
Okay.
because my square numbers will tell me how many people have come in to actually purchase and what are repeat customers. And we're getting anywhere from 400 to 500 new people. And we're getting about 300 to 400 old people who have actually purchased from Miracles of Joy before.
Wow.
So it is an awakening. I mean, it was like COVID hit. 2/3 of my business was not retail. 2/3 of it were classes and readings and workshops and conferences. And I think, Tracy, you've done a couple of the conferences we've done here. Yeah. That was 2/3 of my business. And when I would tune in, we're closed down, and I tune in, and I couldn't see past July. And when I would tune in, I would ask, okay, what am I supposed to do? And all I would hear is, you're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. Yeah. I said, I can't see past July. We're not to July yet. You don't need to see past July. It's not where we are right now. And when we reopened our business, just more and more people started to come in, and people were at home. They weren't spending 2 hours or 3 hours driving to and from work. They're sitting at home working from home, so they have more free time that's kind of available to them. Yeah. Everyone wanted to clear the negative energy that they had in their house. And I really think, I kind of tell this story. I said, I think everyone was sitting, at work saying, that negative energy is that person right over there.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh.
So it was like, how do I feel better? How do I let this go? How do I move forward in this situation? How do I step, and become more powerful? And I felt like, during COVID, it felt like if I manifested it, it showed up immediately. I didn't have this, if I asked for something, it would show up. And I had all these changes that came up. And when you have all these changes that are coming up where you have to twist, I say, you have to pivot on a dime, because that's what COVID gave us. Hey, you're closing, you're at 50% occupancy. Do you wear a mask? Don't you wear a mask? As a business owner, you have all this other stuff that's kind of going on in the background as you're trying to run things. And then all these people are walking in. And it was just, I hit the point, like, I think January of this year is like, I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, oh my God, Dallas has just woken up. And it's not just, I don't feel it's just me. I feel it's humanity. I feel like it was an awakening.
Yes. I was, telling people, like, even in my own readings, a lot of people, yes, are connecting to loved ones and wanting psychic stuff, but a lot of people are having some spiritual things happen and opening up. It's just, and I know we talked earlier too, that even a couple of people that I'm helping counsel, like, they're being drawn to open a store in their area because there's not anything. What would you say to those people? Like, what advice? You're 15 years in, like,
do it. Well, I would say, here's what I tell people. I said, I didn't just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to open up a metaphysical store. I was in corporate America. I was making a lot of money. So I had to sit back and say, I'm not sure if I want to do this. And I literally heard every day, it is time for you to quit your job. It is time for you to quit your job. It is time for you to quit your job. So I would turn around and go, and do what? What is it that you want me to do? And I always said, when I was in my early 20s, I wanted to open up a metaphysical store. I knew what the name was going to be. And I wanted to turn around and step forward in it. When you are living your passion and you're following your internal guidance, you got to trust that things are going to show up the way that they are. Look for the signs around you. Look for the miracles. If you drive the building I'm in right now, I would have never moved into this building, but what ended up happening is my daughter moved into an apartment around the corner. I came pulling up. I'm like, this is it. I have to get into this building. How am I going to do this? The landlord called me. I was right around the corner when he called me. I was like literally getting walking distance to the building. I walked in. He turns around and says, I really want to see what it is that you do. He goes, so I want to come into your old store. And I'm sitting there going, okay, Michael, everything is in divine order. Everything is in divine order. And when he walked in, he turns around, he goes, honey, I love what you do.
Really?
He goes, I love what you do. I need you to come into my building, but I'm greedy. I need to build the other side out for you. So tell me what it is that you need. And as he's walking out of the door of my store, he turns to me and he says, he goes, have you ever seen that movie, Michael?
You're like, okay, that was a sign. Yes.
So I'm like, okay, this is going to work out for me. This is what it is that I am meant to be, what I'm meant to do. So this is my third location. And what I mean by that is I've moved 3 times and I've expanded 3 times. I started off in 1,000 square feet. I expanded to 2,000 square feet. I expanded to 3,000 square feet, which is the building that I'm in.
Yeah.
And, we're almost outgrowing this one. It's just time for us to really look at expanding again.
Yeah.
And our retail sales has gone through the roof because it's tools that people want to tangibly hold in order to shift what's going on in their day-to-day life.
And it draws people in. I keep hearing, build it, they will come, build it, they will come. Like
that's what believe it or not, that was my saying. And what happened was I had a little poster, if you build it, they will come. I put it on my front window when I first opened up and it's still there today.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's crazy. Yes, Cass. Cassie's raising her hand like it's school.
Oh, sorry. I was just suggesting. That's amazing.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think it's also a testament. So, and this, people who are awakening, they're going to their spiritual self. And I believe just through my own work that spiritual awakening and development is also healing. So there's a two-way street. You're doing both at the same time and going through all that stuff. But a lot of people, and I feel like the number one block that everybody has is fear. Mm-hmm. So I love your testament because you went into this. And in 15 years, have you ever missed a rent? Have you ever missed anything?
Close. And I'll tell you the story, okay? I realized part of that was how I manifested. Sometimes we ask for what it is that we need on the day that we need it, rather than giving us some breathing room. And what I would always say to myself is, by the first, I need the rent money. By the first, I need the rent money. Make sure you have it show up on the first. And it was 1 month. I'm in here and I'm like, and I have like a third of it. Oh. Okay. Wednesday. And I have like a third of the rent money and it's the first and it's due. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm in the back room cussing my guides, like, where are you? And someone was in my storefront. One of my employees was in a storefront. This little lady walked in from another state and she spent almost $2,000 at boom.
Boom, major rent.
And I'm like, when I walked back out, I went, I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I made it again.
Yes. See, so what advice would you give people who are wanting to open it? Just to trust?
I would turn around and tell you, you got to ask for what it is that you need and don't think you're being greedy. Like some of it is, if you want to talk about what we tell ourselves is, we don't want to ask for too much. We don't want too much. We want to be just getting by, let's not be greedy and ask the universe for the world because we only need this much to get by. And what I noticed was what took the stress off of me is I started to ask for the rent by the 15th of the month.
Oh,
all my bills paid by the 15th of the month.
Okay.
And everything paid by the 15th of the month. Okay. When I'm going into the next month, and it started to show up because I changed when I wanted it.
Okay.
They're only going to bring it how you ask for it.
And I think that's a big, big testament, like asking you shall receive. So be careful how you're asking for it and be careful what you're asking for because you just might get it. So, right? I think that's powerful. We're all such powerful beings anyway. So we don't just realize the power that we have within us. So I think that's a beautiful testament. Yes. Any questions so far, Cass?
Let me check. We do have a question, but it's more of a reading question. So we'll save that kind of closer to the end.
Okay. Perfect. So I do have questions because you're a healer. Yes. So I want to hear, a lot of people, I know you do Reiki, but I want to hear what Galactic Healing is. Because that's not like that one I don't know as much about. And then maybe our listeners would like to know what that is too. So give me the concept. Yeah.
So Galactic Healing is an energy healing modality that I actually own the trademark of it and have for probably 12 years now. And it heals on 3 levels. First of all, what I find fascinating about galactic healing, it's about bringing the feminine divine and the masculine divine together as equals. So it's about pulling both those energy frequencies together, and it heals in 3 levels. The physical level is going to be the shamanic frequency. So it heals with the earth elements. Okay. And how I look at that is we all have some fears connected to some of the elements, whether you want to call it past life, present life, or just fears that come out of nowhere or phobias. And it's about actually bringing you in balance with some of those fears. And then on the angelic, I call it the angelic frequency, which heals at the emotional level. And then the last one is going to be sacred geometry. So that I call it the I am that I am frequency. It's about healing on the soul level and bringing all of that together. So to me, galactic healing was something that just spoke to me. I knew it before it even showed up. And it's kind of like, I take journeys to Teotihuacan, Mexico. Okay. And I've taken people to Bosnia as well, and there's pyramids that are there in Bosnia. And what I see is when I look at these places, it looks like galactic healing in stone to me. Oh. It's like they have a lot of the earth elements, but yet you usually have the moon pyramid and the sun pyramid who would represent the feminine and the masculine divine and bringing that energy together. So to me, it is just taking it to kind of the next level of a healing modality. Now, I believe anyone who's drawn to any kind of healing modality, you go and do that healing modality. I still teach Reiki. I teach the Usui Reiki, and I still teach people on all different levels, level 1, level 3, and then the master teacher level. Healing to me, anyone who's taken Reiki, it was an awakening for me. When I took Reiki for the first time, it's an awakening. And when you realize that you have the power within yourself, what is disease that happens within the body? It is the soul at dis-ease. And I kind of like use that terminology. And it's this with the thought patterns we bring in, whether it's fear, anxiety, stress. And we pull that into our energy field, and it eventually will go into our physical body and settle in organs that can create that disease within the body. So I feel like what energy healing does is it goes in and removes those emotions and that energy out of the body to reset it and release that stress so it cannot manifest into a disease later on.
Fascinating. I have a story. I know I was going through some emotional stuff probably over a year ago, and I went and saw a Reiki master. And it's the craziest thing. I hadn't gone to do Reiki I only had one session a long time ago just to see what it's about when I was trying to dip my toes in everything. Mm-hmm. But the minute her hand hit my heart chakra, bawling, whatever, release. I can't even tell you why I was crying. I was just bawling and I just could not stop. So it's a super powerful healing modality, I think. And that's just kind of my experience. So people who haven't had those experiences, I would encourage you just to go seek some out, just to feel it out. Because it was life-changing. It was fascinating for me because I'm a pretty strong emotional person. So I wasn't expecting that to happen, but it's exactly what needed to happen, right?
I call tears are very important because tears is our soul's way of releasing the energy out of our energy field. We can use spiritual life coaching, and we all have done this in our own personal life. We know what our fear is. We know what's blocking us from living our authentic self in a situation. And whether it's relationships or whether it's financial or any kind of thing, we know what that is. And we logically can analyze, this is our ego blocking us.
Right.
However, we don't necessarily move that all the way to our heart chakra to release it from our physical body. And even though we can analyze this, it's about taking it to that next level for a release. Most people who are in a channeling class and they sit down and start channeling, they start crying. And they ask me, I don't understand. I said, that is your guides merging with you. They're making space in your heart chakra for them to be able to connect to that heart chakra. So it's moving those energies and those frequencies out of there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we do have one question. One Whitney Harden was asking, what is Reiki?
Reiki is universal life energy force. That's a simple way to tell you. It was discovered by Dr. Usui. He is from Japan. And what he did is he actually went to a mountaintop for 21 days. And he was studying, he said, what happened to that spiritual healing that the Buddhists used to use, that all these spiritual temples used to use? What happened to it? So he studied it. He went to a mountain for 21 days. And on the 21st day, he started to get these golden symbols that were sent to him through his crown chakra. Okay. And that's where he developed the Reiki symbol. So it's an energy healing modality that has been handed down from master to student, master to student, master to student since that time. And in any Reiki class, you usually get a lineage where you can see yourself going up to Dr. Asui.
Interesting. Yeah. I think that's fascinating. I've never been attracted to it, but I love it. So again, if anybody has an opportunity to like Google in your area, metaphysical store, and just see if they have any practitioners and go have a session done. It's so important because like you said, I counsel people all day long, but they have that trapped stuff within them and they don't know how to release it. So I always tell them, I think a Reiki session would be good for them because it helped me release. I think I had to experience it. And
right.
So I would encourage people to do that for sure.
I think it also expands psychic abilities. You know, some people, they have an ego that'll tell them you're making that up. That's just not real. When you get these messages from other people, and it's kind of like you're getting this message and it's telling you it's not real, stop faking it, don't say it, you're going to be wrong. Well, what I feel what Reiki does is it's an energy healing modality where it teaches us how to channel energy. And how to move spiritual energy. There's no fear in actually putting your hands above someone's energy field to send them that unconditional love and allowing their guides and angels to come in. And I think that what that does is open us up to actually experience all kinds of energy.
That's an interesting way to put it. I never thought about it that way, but it's true. You have nothing to fear because you're just channeling energy. So I think the ego doesn't have to get in the way. I always tell my clients and my students, it's your brain. They're fighting with each other. Left brain, right brain are constantly fighting. Is it real? Is it not real? Is it real? Did I make that up? Right. So it's just a constant battle. Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, make it up. And they go, what do you mean? I said, that thought that's in your head, say it. What difference does it matter if you're right or wrong? Just say it.
Yes. That's what I say too. Just say it. Most of the times you're right. So like if anybody wants to practice, like take a picture that you don't know the person and just write things and make it up and then find out how much you got right. Because it feels in this kind of work like we're making it up, but it tends to be so on point and so right. You just have to learn to trust. I think that's where, you know, a teacher once told me, whatever is wrong in your spiritual development, psychic or mediumship is what's wrong in your personal life. So if you're struggling with confidence or you're struggling with trusting yourself, that's something that you need to deal with on a personal level, on your personal life, and then they'll come together. So I think that was one of the aha moments for me. I used to have a lot of confidence issues. I was afraid to be wrong. I was afraid to say anything. I was afraid. I had no confidence. So that's something that I personally just had to work so much on just to build my confidence level up. And it's been a work in progress for sure, but it all goes hand in hand. Everything just kind of goes hand in hand.
Well, when you're on your spiritual path, or even being a psychic or being any kind of a reader, any kind of an energy healer, we still have to work on ourselves. We have to know what that stuff is that we are still holding on to, that we need to let go of. And it's kind of like every human being has those struggles on a regular basis. And it's not just me that has those struggles. Other people have those struggles. So when you're on a spiritual path, you're telling your guides and your angels, okay, I'm ready to work on this stuff. So when it shows up and it shows up and it shows up, you have to turn around and go, okay, I'm ready to work on this stuff. So it's about working on it. Yes. Your mirrors will show up to you. And there's times when I do a reading that I call it my mirror who shows up. What is showing up? I know I'm telling them something, okay, that I need to do myself.
Yes.
Because they're going through the same thing that I happen to be going through. When I first started doing readings, I had a lot of people that were in corporate America, women that were at a management level. Because that's who I was at that point, they're going to show up because my energy harmonizes with them. And when I would sit down and tell them something that they needed to do, they would look at me and I go, I know how hard it is that I'm telling you this. I said, because this is something I need myself. So I realized the challenge that this is in a moment. And I said, it's almost like your angels will speak back to you through yourself, through those in front of you.
Yes. I could talk personally. I struggle to read men. I just do. Like,
Me too.
Do you? I don't want to go there. I don't want to get vulnerable with them. I struggle. And so guess what's been happening lately? I have all these men wanting readings. And I'm like, why are you doing this to me? Like, I need to work on that block that I have. And I know where it comes from. Just admitting it.
I had the same experience this year. What happened was, it was like, I'm sitting there and I was doing readings, and all of a sudden it was like in one day, 5 guys showed up for a reading. And I'm like, really?
What? This is a joke, right?
A lot of it was really great though, because it was like, I realized what part of that was just my fears and maybe my past history.
That's what I know. And I know that to be true, because once I'm in the flow, the readings end up being amazing. But it's me working up to the reading and being sick to my stomach and getting all the physical things that happens. And that I recognize it just like you. It has to do with past. So spirit, they're going to work with you, and they're going to say, it's time to get over that. It's time to, and they'll just keep pushing, and they'll keep bringing them to you. Like you said, it's a mirror. I got to figure that out. Yeah.
Like, hey, you have something here. Would you like to work on it today?
That's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they do. No, I don't want to work on it. I'm like, no. Oh, but I hope that helps other people out there know that we're human, right? We still struggle. I still struggle some days. I still struggle with confidence. I was telling Joy before this call, just TikTok helped me kind of blow up just a little bit. And so I think I've done like 75 readings. So in May, but every day, I'm not kidding, I have probably 6 readings a day on the books now. And every day, I'm afraid that's the day it's not going to work. That's the day I get sick to my stomach every single day before I start. So it doesn't matter how far in advance, you still struggle with some of your own internal stuff that you're like, okay, you need to work on that.
And there's those days that you think you're not spiritual enough. And I'll talk about that, because it's really, really important. I can come into the store, the air conditioner's broken, this is broken, that's broken, the door doesn't lock. So you're in this firefight of humanity. Okay. So you're in this firefight trying to get all this human stuff, one thing after the other, and you have to channel for people tonight. And you go, how am I going to sit in a seat and start channeling? And it's like you're at this stress level, but yet every time you sit in that seat, what ended up happening is your guides are going to step forward. They're going to support you. They're going to show up. And what I get at the end of that is the humanity wasn't really that bad. Yeah. It's like I'm not stressed over what happened during that particular day at that particular time.
It is fascinating to me too. Like, I just went through a big life change with selling a house, moving, and still doing 5 readings at night, trying to make sure I have internet so it's like a huge stress level. But man, when you're in the flow and it's all over for the day, you're like, that was beautiful. It wasn't so bad. It just, the energy just takes over. It's
right.
Beautiful. What's interesting too, and I don't know, you talked about disease earlier, and it just made me have a thought. I've been noticing a lot. What do you think about like us psychic mediums who are constantly plugged in all the time? So I have an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's, and I'm on tons of Facebook groups that talk about it, and people are like bedridden and people can't function. I don't have that issue. And I'm wondering, is it because I'm plugged into source all day long and I'm just channeling that energy, and that energy is healing? And I talked to another pretty famous person in the Dallas area. She's got a debilitating disease, but doesn't feel it either. And the doctor doesn't even know how she walks. So what are your thoughts about that? Just plugging
My
in.
thoughts are you plugged into that energy, and what it's doing is it's actually clearing your energy field. Now, I say that there are 2 kinds of readers in this world. And what I mean by that are 2 kinds of healers in this world. Those who feel the healing comes from them, they're at the earth level, or they're reading at that earth level. What ends up happening is those are the ones that say, I'm drained. I have no energy. You see that they get more sickly. Okay. And they have more diseases that kind of show up at that particular time. Well, when you plug in and say, this energy isn't coming from me, it's coming from source. I am just willing to be the open vessel to share the information that comes through. Then that energy comes in and it's clearing you because you're allowing source to kind of anchor with you on more of a regular basis.
Oh, that's fascinating. I think it's fascinating. I'm starting to counsel people on that when they're coming, like, just with sickness and illness. I'm like, maybe you start to plug into your own power and plug into your own source and channel some of that energy to help clear all that. So I don't know. I'm a big believer because I watch it and I see it and I shouldn't feel as good as I feel, but I feel really amazing. And, even doing 5 to 6 readings a night, I still function just fine. Where maybe back in the beginning, 1 reading a day would have drained the heck out of me. Right. But it's different now. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting.
I also tell people to hug trees. I think part of what's happening is if you're in that stress level where you're at that high stress because you're worried, and you can't shut that off, I tell people, you go out there and you hug a tree. You just put your arms around that tree and you just let that energy drain and you allow the earth to kind of take that energy away from you. And that'll help reset your energy field as well.
Interesting. That just felt good thinking about it. Yeah. So everybody go hug a tree. Go hug a tree. Any questions out there, Cassie? Want to do a check-in? We're going to check in, see if there's any questions.
If you do Reiki healing directed towards one person, will everyone watching benefit, or does only the person you are directing it toward receive it?
I don't feel that there's limitations. Whoever wants to receive it will receive it. So it's not really just about directing it to one person. You could just send it out to anyone who happens to be participating at this particular time. And it's about everyone who's just willing to receive it. Remember, there's 2 sides of this. You are willing to share that energy. You're willing to be the vessel to allow the universe to work through you. But yet at the same time, the other person on the other end has to be willing to receive it.
Gotcha.
Good job.
Very cool.
Scanning some more questions.
All right. And we did actually have, I'm just going to take a moment to say we did have a spammer on here. So I was blocking them and I accidentally blocked one other person instead because the comments were scrolling and I didn't realize it. So sorry about that.
No problem.
Anyway, we did get a couple great things. Great
information. I have a question, just because it comes up so much. When you have new people coming into this field, the concept of money and being paid for our work comes up a lot, and there tends to be a block around that. How do you counsel people regarding the whole transfer of money for the work that we do?
Here's what, this was a lesson for me. So I'll explain my own personal experience with this. Okay. I used to have a guy who was on disability and he would come in and I would do an energy healing session on him once a week. And he just was not getting any better. And I did this for almost 7 months and he just was not getting any better. And I would do it for free. Okay. So what happened was I had, I said, maybe I asked one of my healers, maybe you should work on him. I obviously, there's something not working with me. And the healer got on the phone and said, hey, I'm going to do your healing session today, but I don't do it for free. And he goes, well, I'm on disability and I don't have any money. And the healer says, but I know you make stone pipes. I know you make like Native American pipes with feathers and stuff. I'll do it as an exchange. So what he did is he came in and he had that exchange. The next day he walks in and he hands me this huge pipe that he made for me with all these ceremonial feathers that were made out of stone. And I turn around and I'm like, he hands it to me. He says, this is for all the healing that you've done for me for the past 6 months. And all of a sudden he got better. So my guidance, what I heard was, you have to have an exchange of energy. On this planet, we use money as an exchange of energy. You give me this and you receive this. And it's a give and receive sort of flow. And if you don't have that give and take, it's going to block the flow of it.
100% agree. 100% agree. And that people that do it for free can get burnt out because people just want to take, and you're not being fed back. So that energy is being blocked. So that's awesome. I think another thing, go ahead.
Yeah, I've also feel like I've seen where it's like all of a sudden that the relationship between those two people can get really out of whack if there's not that energy exchange going too.
I don't know if you have any Theta practitioners, or you do Theta, don't you, Tracy?
I trained in it, yes.
You trained in it. So part of what I want to say is, on a soul level, some people have taken the oath of poverty. They have been healers in the past life. They've been monks, they have been nuns, they have walked a spiritual path if they're following this path now. They have taken oaths of poverty. That can be blocking people. So I always ask them, my favorite was for the healing session. I used to do healing sessions in a lot of our readers, and it was Theta healing session. And what I would do is go in and work on those blocks of poverty that they put in place. And it was amazing to see when it turned around and worked. I never forget on I think it was the 5th reader I worked on, I'm up in Theta. I'm removing this block that she has. She was a healer in a past life.
Okay.
So she had this oath of poverty. I'm actually removing that. And all of a sudden I hear clear as day, you keep removing this for other people. Would you like to remove it for yourself?
Oh. Hello.
And I went, oh, yes, while we're at it, I would like to remove that for myself.
Hello. Yes.
Please and thank you.
Yeah. Like some of us, we feel guilty. And I think the stigma of the just people out there think we're scammers and all that kind of thing, that we're just doing it for the money. So that can create a block in itself, and you just have to be confident in knowing what you're doing and being authentic. That's another question I wanted to talk about too. Like, a lot of people are afraid to come out of the spiritual closet. What would you tell people about authenticity and just being who you're supposed to be?
It's not, it depends on where you are. We're in the Bible Belt here, so it's a little bit more challenged. I grew up in New Orleans, so I would say in New Orleans, it's a lot less challenging than in the Bible Belt. I think what made things work for me is I didn't know I was in a Bible Belt when I moved here.
Well, ignorance is bliss. That's what I would say.
So part of it is, it's kind of like, everyone wants to say that it's something, dark or sinister or things of that nature. And from where I sit is, it's our connection to God, Creator, the all that is, anything that we, want to relate to that higher spiritual vibration. And it's our way of helping that person through something. Someone does not come to you and get a reading if they don't already know the answer to the question that they came there for.
Absolutely right.
They're just coming for confirmation.
Validation. That's it. Yes.
That's all they're looking for, is validation. Are you going to pick up on the same thing that they already know in their life for them to be able to make the changes that they need to make? That's what being psychic is all about. Now, there's a difference, okay? If someone wants to remove a curse for $1,000, okay, because what's happening to you, just so you know, is someone put a curse against you, okay, that's creating this stuff in your life. And I tell people all the time when they come in to my store and someone has said this to them, I said, look, you're coming in to get a reading. Let's look at this logically. There's 3 ways you're coming in to get a reading. It's either a relationship, it's financial, or health. Those are usually the 3 reasons that people are coming in to get a reading anyway. So if someone turns around and says that it's a curse that's being put against you, it means they don't know how to read.
Right? Yes.
It's not that. It's not that at all. It's they don't know how to read. They don't know how to give you psychic information. So that's where the scam is. You're not really even going to a psychic. You're going to someone who's pretending to be a psychic at that moment.
Right. And that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to live in El Paso, and I think I went to a psychic one time, and she said all these kinds of things, and I had to purchase these candles to release things. So I was like, oh. So that was my first hint of like a scammer, when they're wanting more and more money for you, and they create things so that they can get rid of them. So yeah, I've had an experience with one of those too. Yeah.
I think the most amazing thing is we get them to come in the front door because they don't have the thousands of dollars, where there's like, they've gone to someone who says this, they don't have the thousands of dollars. So they show up here and say, and I turn around and go, you don't have a curse. It's not
Yes.
just what's really happening to you. It's kind of like everyone has stuff that they kind of go through at some point in their life. So we try to coach them from that particular perspective in order to shift things in their life.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
We do have one question, and then I think it'll be about time for readings.
Okay.
So, but our question is, will your spirit guides let you know what your spiritual gift is, or if you have one?
Everyone has one. So I'll just put that out there. Everyone has a spiritual gift. You are in the body. You chose to incarnate. You are God in the physical realm. You are a spiritual being trying to experience the physicality. So you have a spiritual gift. And your guides will let you know what it is. What are they sending you to? What words are popping in? If someone mentions Reiki or Tarot, does something really light up in you? And if it does, when you seek it, does it show up to you? Do you find a class that you have to go to? I try to tell people, don't make any spiritual teacher wrong. If you go to something and it doesn't work out, there was an experience in that for you to show up. There's not a class that I haven't taken something from it. And I said, it's okay to say, this person just doesn't harmonize with me energetically, and just let that go and move on to the next person that does.
Absolutely.
How does it feel when you're in front of that person? What is your heart telling you? Our ego is going to turn around and tell us one thing, but where is it in your heart? How is it hitting you at your heart chakra?
Right.
So true. And I just have to expand, sorry, just a little bit, just because I've watching my TikTok kind of blow up with some commenting and stuff. Like, perspective is everything. You have a belief currently because of your perspective currently in life. And so I think you're going to run into people who are going to disagree, who may have a different experiences that cause their perspective to be different. And so I think it's just honoring where you're at and honoring where we're at, and just honoring where people are at, and allow them to continue their journey. So it's just very interesting. The spiritual community, I love it because I create my own, people create you create your own reality, basically, right? It's your own toolbox. It's your own, you're starting to build your own belief system. Unlike religion, where you're told what to believe, I love spirituality because you can create your own, right? But there are people out there that believe in curses. There are people out there that, so there's some disagreements kind of going on in the TikTok. So I just wanted to make that statement.
Which also brings me to I know that I said that was the last question, but somebody asked another one, and I think it's an important one to hit on. It says, so are you saying that people can't put curses on us, period?
I think people can send you energy. Okay. I don't care where they're sending it from their negative perspective. They can only send you energy. You are the one who chooses to receive it. Now, if you don't know a curse is put on you, you may not be reacting to it. But yet, if someone turns around and has to leave something to let you know that they put a curse on you, or they have to hint that they put a curse on you, what happens is it's energy. And when we receive it, if we believe in curses, okay, then it can manifest in our life. If you believe that someone can only send you energy, you can choose to take that energy, say, thank you for sending me that energy. I think I want to increase my sales at the store today.
There you go.
Thank you for sending me that energy. I think that I want to create that in my life today. And that is my true experience of how it works for me. And everyone has their own belief system about curses. I've had people come in and talk about how curses were put against me, the store, all this other stuff. And I go, yes, that means we have great sales this week. It's only energy. I get to decide how it's used.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way.
That's a good point.
It is a good point, because it's just energy. And if they're sending it to you, so yeah, I love how you turn the negative into a positive. And I think that's probably a good point. Yeah. All right, Cass, lead us. Where are we at now?
All right. So if you all are, people in the comments, if you all are watching and you are open to a reading, please go ahead and start leaving your comments. Let us know that you that you're open, and we will go ahead and start drawing cards. And Tracy, do you have anybody on your TikTok feed?
TikTok. All right. My daughter is due to have her first grandbaby on June 19th. Does my grandma? Oh, yes, they know, y'all. Yeah. Gina would love a reading. She's open to anything. So we're going to pull a card for Gina. Hi, Gina. All right. Gina. I will pull a card for Gina. Dun, dun, dun. All right, Gina. So the card that I got for you is leadership. It's time to start setting some new goals. It's a really beautiful card. I'll just show here. I'll show here. And what really stands out to me is the lioness in the card. And so channeling your inner lion, your inner strength, your inner courage to not be afraid to set goals outside your limit, I guess is what I want to say for you. Like reach for the stars, like set the goals, set them high. Let the universe respond. I'm a big believer in manifestation. So this card shows me this really powerful lady. So you're a powerful manifester. You just don't know it all yet. So I would write down some really specific goals for yourself and then watch how they can come into alignment, especially when you start coming into alignment and walking your true identity and your true path. So good luck with that. Anybody else got a card for her?
I do. Joy, do you have a card?
I do.
Go for it.
I do.
I'll go last.
So what I'm getting right now is that Gina's getting ready to make a change in her life from a business perspective. What I see from her right now is it's being divinely guided by spirit, by God, whatever you want. When I see things that don't have any hands that are attached to it in the tarot cards, it always means it's divinely guided. And it's about something that's getting ready to really explode for her from a business perspective. I don't know if she's thinking about running her own business or stepping out on her own or doing another way of manifesting money in her everyday life, but now is the time to do it.
Good job. Good.
Awesome. And so the card that I actually pulled, it's the Rubelite card. And the words that go with it are passion and purpose. Your enthusiasm gives you energy and motivation. It gives you energy and motivation to work on a meaningful project that's dear to your heart.
See, we're all in alignment here. I think that's amazing. Yes. All right. Do you have anybody on Facebook? We'll do Facebook.
We do. We actually have quite a few. We've got Ashley Taddock. She says, I'm open.
She's open. Hi, Ashley. So Ashley, I pulled actually Archangel Gabriel's card for you, which is magical. Those are magical cards anytime we pull an angel card. And he is the messenger of creativity and hope. So whatever I feel like you're going through right now, I just want you to know that this too shall pass. There is hope for you. There's hope for every situation. Look at it, zoom out just a little bit, look at it, at what the lesson is for you and your soul. And sometimes that just kind of makes it easier and it helps us to make the decisions that we need to make in life. Also channel your inner creativity. What is your passions? What is it that you're missing in your current life right now? And search for that. Who is Ashley? What does she like? What does she do? And yeah, good luck with that. Or Joy, whoever wants to go next.
Okay, so I have what is the 5 of Cups, and I'm going to show this because I want to really show it. This is one of my favorite cards in the world, and I'm going to tell you why. It says you're looking at the cups that are spilt, and it's almost like our focus on something that has already been lost. It's been lost, but there's hidden blessings behind that. The 2 cups that are actually standing behind them are the hidden blessings that are coming forward. So with this card, when someone has this card, it usually tells me, stop. Sometimes our lives get swished around, okay, in order to force us to make some decisions in the present moment so we can move into the spiritual path we're supposed to be in the future. So there are hidden blessings in what it is that you're going through at this particular time in your life.
Right.
Nice. Love it.
And what I did get was divine life purpose. So I like this card because it's got just a really pretty card. But it also says trust the signs and your inner guidance, which are leading you to fulfillment.
Very nice. Very nice. And then Gina says she loved the readings. Thank you. So giving guys that feedback. Yay.
So, all right. We've got a few more people over here on Facebook.
Go ahead.
Unless you get someone on. Okay.
Go ahead.
Whitney Harden. I definitely want a reading about what is going on with my life and where it is going.
So Whitney, the card I pulled for you is the Take a Leap of Faith card. It's time to jump. It's time to have faith in what's in store for you next. It's a beautiful card with the dove. So I would even Google when we get off of here, like the spiritual meaning of dove. And yeah, like trust yourself. Trust that if you're being guided in a certain direction, that's exactly where you're meant to be. So follow the breadcrumbs, I always say, right? We didn't all just end up here because one day we decided. We followed the breadcrumbs and we listened to our inner guidance and we let it lead us and we felt called to do something. So if you're being called, it's that inner voice that keeps talking to you and it's telling you it's time, it's time, it's time. So it's time to take a leap of faith. Good luck.
So you actually got the Sun card of success, and the Hermit card fell out as well. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit, 2 major arcanas, which means there's some major changes that are going on in your life right now. And the Sun card is like, it is a lot of positive changes that are going on. The Hermit card is about going within, clearing some of that stuff that needs to be cleared so you can actually go forward and move forward in your life. So it's always, when the Hermit card shows up for me, it's about time to follow your own spiritual path. It's about time to go out there and do something that you're meant to do that has a life purpose. And when I talk to people about their life purposes, it's not always, hey, quit your job and become a healer, or quit your job and become a psychic. We all have purpose. If your purpose in your life is to work with animals, find something that's animal related that's going to fulfill you. If it's art, find something that's art related that's going to fill you. You know, if it's opening up your own business, find the passion in that and move forward to open up your own business. Stop relying on other people. It is time for you to find that power within yourself and start moving forward.
Awesome.
Yeah, especially because the card that I got is Malachite, and it's the card for, it's the stone for prosperity. So there's a positive shift in your life. Sorry, I messed up words there, but there's a positive shift in your flow of divine support. So as you're doing all the clearing, you're just going to be stepping right into.
I feel she already knows a business if she's not already running a business. And I think that what's happening right now in her particular life is it's almost Spirit is saying, just take that leap of faith.
Yeah, take it. Time to take it. All right, I have one. It's hard because I don't get names on TikTok. Akern628 has asked like 3 times that she's open for a reading. So let's just pull a card for her. I got the celebration card. It's time to let go and have some fun. I think sometimes we can take life too seriously, or we can be so in our current situation that we can't see light and we lose the fun and the spark that we may have. And so this is just a reminder to let loose and see things as the lessons that we've learned and see the possibilities and have fun and concentrate back on yourself again. I feel like you give, and you don't receive a lot back in return. So it's time to figure that out and figure out what makes you happy and go discover. I would like to tell people the most amazing journey is a self-discovery journey. Go find out who you are, find out what you like, find out what makes you tick or what gives you some inner passion. Okay, so start your own little self-discovery journey. The other card that fell out was the Enlightenment card for you. I would pursue some spiritual growth too. It's no accident that you made it to this page today. It's no accident that you're here. So yeah, start looking into some spiritual guidance and some spiritual growth. Start picking up some books and start reading. Start doing some meditating. So good luck. Oh.
So I have the World card. Okay, and I call this the Apprentice card. So what does that actually mean? That means that I don't want to say you have arrived, okay? But what ends up happening is you don't spend any time on yourself and you don't spend your hard-earned money on yourself. You're always worried about other people instead of like, I'm going to tell you to go get a massage. I am going to tell you to go get your nails done. I'm going to tell you to go pamper yourself a little bit, because that's what I feel like you need to do at this point, instead of always putting yourself last, always, doing for other people before you do for yourself. I want to see you buy yourself a present every time you get paid, anytime you get money. Go out there and buy yourself a present.
Yeah. Her name is Andrea, by the way.
Okay.
So the card that I got was was Moldavite, which the word that goes with it is unconventionality. And so I do feel like your path, like you I feel like your path may not fit like the normal box, and that's okay. And I think that the more you get comfortable with your own uniqueness, the more you're going to see just all aspects of your life just flourish.
Hey, she says, wow, also very true. So good job, guys.
All right.
Your turn.
We've got Nicole Simpson.
Hi, Nicole Simpson. My allergies are hitting me. My nose is itching. Or that spirit. I'm not really sure. So let's see. What do we got for Nicole? So Nicole, it's very interesting. I love this card. It's called the Archangel Raphael card, but the message on it is he's the provider of healing of mind, body, and spirit. It's very interesting. A lot of my readings lately have talked about this. It's time to come into alignment. And what does that mean? And it means all aspects of yourself. It means your mind, working on your mindset, working on creating a positive mindset, working on loving yourself, working on being in a place of presence and being in a place of gratitude. Body, getting out, going for a walk, doing some things to move your body, just becoming in alignment. And then soul, doing some soul work, doing some meditative work, doing some spiritual work, get some books, read some books. It's all about just you. I think the timing is coming. You've been through a lot. That's what I'm hearing. And so now it's time. There's a reason for everything. And now it's time that you start to come into alignment with yourself. That's through mind, body, and soul. Next up.
So I actually got a card of a knight that's showing up for you. So I'm not sure if you're in a relationship, and if you're not in a relationship, I feel like one's right around the corner for you. It's going to be something that's successful. It has the star card of success that's with it as well. So it feels like if you have been having relationship issues in a relationship that you're in now, it is going to shift and change to be more positive. And if you're not having relationship issues and you don't have a relationship, then this is showing me that you have one that's right around the corner for you that's getting ready to get started.
Love it.
And the card that I drew is the lapis lazuli. And what I love about this card, it's like it reminds me of the sword in the stone. And it's like as you kind of, as you're working through aligning yourself, the words that go with it is life-changing epiphany or experience. So it's time for a big and blessed change for you. So it's having that courage to pull out that sword and actually pick it up and carry it with pride.
Yeah.
Feelings. So
I know we're running out of time, so I have an idea. Because there's just so many people who are hurting and just need help. How about we all just pull a card for the collective?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I do want to say, because we do have a few people here, Melissa and Ashley, yes, we do see your comments. Unfortunately, we do have a limited amount of time. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be here every second and fourth Wednesday to do this. So, but unfortunately our time is limited, but I love the idea of drawing a card for the collective.
Yeah. So I'll go first. So the card I drew was the cheer up card, and it literally is a lady underwater. And so a lot of people right now feel that way. They feel like they're drowning, or they feel like they're underwater with the pressures of life, the pressures of COVID's had an effect on us, jobs and everything like that. So it's amazing how I got this card. And the message just for the collective, I think it's just so important just to live in the moment. When we worry about the past or live in the past, we're not living in the present. When we're so worried about the future, we're not living in the present. And I think it's just super important, just taking time every day just to be present and experience the magic that's around us, experience the colors of the trees, the colors of the flowers, like go for a walk with purpose, experience the life that's around us. I just think it's a way for you to tune in. It's a way for you to plug in. So that would be my message to all the people that are out there that are struggling, that are hurting. Be present, get to know yourself, get to know your higher self. The answers lie within all of us. We have the answers to everything. We just don't trust ourselves, or we want a different outcome is typically what happens. So cheer up and live in the moment. All right.
So I have the Ace of Cups. So I'm going to talk a little bit from a collective consciousness what this is about. You know, we are in a period of self-love. We're in a period of turning within ourselves and living the purpose that we're here to live, and to remove those obstacles that happen to be in our life. What ends up happening in our day-to-day life is if we're struggling, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's with work, we've been in a place that's just not filling us up anymore. And our guides are pushing us into another path that we're supposed to be following. And I tell someone, I said, if you are miserable in the job that you're at, where's your resume? Where's it out there so your guides and your angels can lead you into something that's going to make you a little bit more happier in your day-to-day life? And that's, to me, what 2020 was about. And when we came into 2020, think about it, that's clear vision. Okay. Yes. So what it does is it pulls down everything that's really the illusion around us to give us clear vision in the direction that we're meant to move into. And now we're at a time of manifestation for ourselves, the one. 2021, the one. You. Are you living your purpose? Are you living your happiness? Are you living your bliss? Are you putting yourself first before others? And if we just don't focus on the future and we focus on right here, right now, that's where God exists. That's where our angels exist, is in that present moment to be able to create something. So a lot of it is like people are scared to move from one job to another. They hear all this, I call this sort of da-da-da-da-da-da outside, and they kind of follow that group consciousness that has a tendency of being a little bit more negative, whether we're being fed by news media, Facebook feeds, whatever that is. And it's about your purpose at this particular time. Not allow that to filter and change you from the direction that you want to move in, and just make those changes in your day-to-day life.
Love that. And people are commenting on TikTok that how much that just hit home. So People need to hear it as a collective. Everyone is struggling. So
Sure. And yeah, so the last card that I drew is the titanium rainbow quartz, and I love this card because the word that goes with it is multifaceted, and it just has all these different layers and things going on with it. And so I think that just kind of speaks to to kind of what you were both saying about like how many layers and dimensions there are to every person in every situation, and for us to just kind of try to look at things from a little different perspective.
Good job. Yes. Thank you. So Joy, where can people find you? Tell everybody.
People can find me at miraclesofjoy.org, or I also have another website that's called Your Sacred Journeys. And we do 2 sacred journeys a year. We're taking a group to Teotihuacan, Mexico in September, and we're taking another group in November to Sedona, Arizona. Woo! So we're excited about our spiritual journeys. If you're ready to unplug and actually just be with yourself in spirit for a week, is pretty much what you're going to do. And you're going to plug into that energy. It's life-changing when you actually see that energy.
Yeah, it is. It is life-changing. I can attest to that for sure.
And we're located in Lewisville, Texas. So Miracles of Joy is in Lewisville, Texas. And just reach out to us on Facebook. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, as well as the web.
Yay, thank you.
And if somebody did want to book a reading with you, they could go to miraclesofjoy.com.
They can. We do have phone reader tabs, and we can schedule readings there as well.
Awesome.
And then Tracey Escobar, you can find me on the Red Couch Medium on every handle, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And my website is theredcouchmedium.com. And Cassie.
I am Cassie Clayton. I'm with StarGazers Unite. You can find me at stargazersunite.com or Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as stargazers.unite.
So Joy, thanks for being on tonight. We
Thank
appreciate
you for having me. It was a blast.
Yes, it was so much fun. And to everybody out there, we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.